My girlfriend cheated, and I'm 26, what now? Olivia and I had been together for 3 years, living together for 2. We had a routine, a comfortable rhythm. Saturday mornings were for farmers' market runs, followed by cooking brunch together, usually something involving avocado toast and a ridiculous amount of everything bagel seasoning. Evenings were spent binge-watching whatever show caught our fancy or grabbing dinner with our friends, Mark and Sarah. Mark, Olivia's coworker, was always around. He was charismatic, the kind of guy who could charm the socks off anyone. I never felt threatened by him. Olivia and I were solid. At least I thought we were. It started subtly. Olivia's phone became glued to her hand. She'd be scrolling through it late at night, a soft glow illuminating her face, quickly minimizing the screen when I stirred. Working late became a regular occurrence. Marketing blitz, she'd say, rolling her eyes, but she'd actually seem excited about it. Kind of giddy excitement I hadn't seen directed at me in a while. Then came the clothes. Olivia had always been stylish, but suddenly she was sporting new dresses, expensive perfumes, and a suspiciously perfect blowout that couldn't be attributed to just a normal workday. I brushed it off, telling myself I was being paranoid. One morning, I reached for my phone on the nightstand and accidentally grabbed hers instead. A message popped up from an unknown number. Thinking about last night's OXO. My blood ran cold. I clicked on the message. There were more, dozens going back weeks. They were all sickeningly sweet, filled with pet names I'd never used for Olivia. Baby girl, my sweet thing, can't wait to see you again. My hands were shaking. This couldn't be happening. Olivia wouldn't do this to me. We were happy, weren't we? I showed Liam, my best friend since kindergarten. We met at the park when we were 5 years old, me digging in the sand, Liam kicking me in the back. I don't think that kicked sand incident described my day any better than today did. He took one look at the messages and his face hardened. Ethan, I'm sorry, man. But she would never, I stammered, desperately clinging to the hope that there was a reasonable explanation. Dude, come on. What more do you need? A signed confession, Liam said, frustration lacing his voice. Look, confront her but be smart about it. Don't go in blind. Gather more evidence. Gather more evidence? I felt like I was in some awful detective show. But Liam was right. I couldn't just accuse her without being sure, even though the texts were pretty damning. I tried talking to Olivia that night. Hey, is everything okay? You seem distant lately. She sighed dramatically. God, Ethan, can't you ever just let things be? I'm stressed at work, okay? This marketing campaign is killing me. I miss you. We haven't spent any quality time together in weeks. Well, maybe if you were a little more supportive and less needy, I wouldn't need to escape to work all the time, she snapped. Her words stung. Was I being needy? Was I stifling her? Maybe she was right. Maybe I was the problem. Later that week, Chloe, one of Olivia's co-workers, came into my office under the guise of using my company printer. Chloe looked nervous, avoiding eye contact. Ethan, can I talk to you for a second? She asked, her voice barely above a whisper. I led her to an empty conference room. What's up, Chloe? She hesitated. Look, I don't want to get involved, but you deserve to know. There's something going on between Olivia and Mark. What do you mean? I asked, my voice trembling. I can't say anymore, just be careful. Watch out for her. And Mark, she said, before scurrying out of the room. That was all I needed. The seed of doubt had sprouted, and now it was a full-blown poisonous vine, choking the life out of my relationship. I started spending more time at the Rusty Mug, a dive bar a few blocks from my apartment. The bartender, a grizzled guy named Tony, had seen it all. He was a good listener, offering the occasional piece of unsolicited advice. Sometimes, you gotta let the trash take itself out, he'd say, polishing a glass. One evening, I decided to surprise Olivia at her office. I told her I was taking her out for dinner. She sounded surprised, but said she had to finish something before meeting me. I waited in the lobby for about an hour, trying to act natural, when I saw them, Olivia and Mark, leaving the building together. They were laughing, heads close together, and Mark placed a hand on the small of her back. She didn't pull away. The air rushed out of my lungs. It was really happening. My girlfriend was cheating on me. I went back to the Rusty Mug, ordered a double whiskey, and stared blankly at the muted TV screen. I felt numb, like I was watching my life play out in slow motion. That night, I couldn't sleep. I tossed and turned, replaying every moment, every conversation, trying to find clues I had missed. How could I have been so blind? The next morning, I confronted her. Olivia, we need to talk. She rolled her eyes. About what, Ethan? Your insecurities again? I took a deep breath. I know about Mark. Her face paled. She opened her mouth to speak, but no sound came out. I saw you two leaving the office the other night. I saw the way he touched you. And I read your messages, Olivia. I read everything. She started to cry. Ethan, please, it's not what you think. Really. Because it looks an awful lot like you're having an affair with your coworker. It just happened, she stammered, tears streaming down her face. We were working late and we were stressed and it just happened. It just happened. Is that supposed to make me feel better? I yelled, my voice cracking. How long has this been going on? She wouldn't look me in the eye. A few weeks. And you just kept lying to me. You kept pretending everything was fine. I still love you, Ethan, she sobbed. I didn't mean for it to happen. I was unhappy. You've been distant. You never do anything fun. I feel like I'm living with my grandpa. Her words hit me like a punch to the gut. So it was my fault. I was the reason she cheated. We argued for hours. Accusations flew, tears were shed, and old wounds were reopened. I felt like I was talking to a stranger. This wasn't the Olivia I knew and loved. Or I guess the Olivia I thought I knew and loved. Get out, I finally said, my voice hoarse. What? She asked, her eyes wide with disbelief. Get out of my apartment. Get out of my life. She packed a bag, her hands trembling. As she walked out the door, she turned and said, You're making a mistake, Ethan. We can fix this. I didn't say anything. I just watched her go. The apartment felt empty without her. The silence was deafening. I wandered around, touching her things, remembering moments we had shared. Every object, every photograph was a painful reminder of what I had lost, or what I thought I had lost. I called my parents. They were shocked, disappointed. You need to try to work things out, Ethan, my mom said, her voice laced with disapproval. Marriage is about commitment, about sticking together through thick and thin. But Mom, she cheated on me, I said, feeling like I was arguing with a wall. Everyone makes mistakes, Ethan. You need to be understanding. Maybe she was just going through a rough patch. My parents' traditional views offered no solace. They came from a different generation, one where divorce was a taboo, where staying together was always the right thing to do, regardless of the circumstances. I called Sarah, the coworker I sometimes grabbed lunch with. I wouldn't say we were close, but she was cool and seemed to offer sound advice. I told her everything. Ethan, you don't owe her anything, she said firmly. She broke your trust. She betrayed you. You don't have to stay with someone just because you've been together for a certain amount of time. Your happiness matters too. Her words were a lifeline. I needed to hear that. I needed someone to tell me that it was okay to walk away, that I wasn't a failure for not being able to fix things. Over the next few days, Olivia and I had several more conversations. She begged for forgiveness, promised to change, even suggested couples therapy. Part of me wanted to believe her. Part of me wanted to go back to the way things were. But I knew it was impossible. The trust was gone, shattered into a million pieces. I made the decision. It was the hardest thing I'd ever done, but I knew it was the right thing. Olivia, I can't do this, I said, my voice trembling. I can't be with someone I can't trust. I need to move on. She cried, pleaded, but I stood firm. I had to, for my own sanity. The weeks that followed were a blur of sadness, anger, and confusion. I couldn't sleep, I barely ate, and I struggled to focus at work. I felt like I was adrift at sea, with no land in sight. I started exercising again, hitting the gym every day to release my pent-up frustration. I spent more time with Liam, playing video games and drinking beer. I even started taking guitar lessons, something I had always wanted to do but never had the time for. I also started seeing a therapist. She helped me process my emotions, understand my patterns, and develop healthy coping mechanisms. I learned that it was okay to feel angry, it was okay to grieve, and it was okay to prioritize my own needs. A few months later, I felt like a new person. I wasn't completely healed, but I was stronger, more resilient, and more self-aware. The pain was still there, but it was duller, less consuming. I started dating again, cautiously. I met some nice women, but I wasn't ready for anything serious. I was still healing, still learning to trust. One Saturday morning, I was at the farmer's market picking out some tomatoes when I saw her. Olivia. She was with Mark. They were holding hands, laughing, and looked genuinely happy. I froze. I didn't know what to do. Should I approach them? Should I turn around and walk away? Before I could decide, Olivia saw me. Her eyes widened and she looked away. Mark just stared right through me. I gave her a small nod and continued browsing the vegetables. There was no animosity, no anger, just a quiet acceptance. They were together. I was alone. But I was okay. I knew that I was going to be okay. I had survived. I grabbed my tomatoes and headed home, a sense of peace settling over me. The future was uncertain, but I was ready to face it. I was 26 years old and my life was just beginning, or so I hoped.